Okay, so let's talk some materials for our wristlet. So this is what our end product will look like. Super cute, super functional. I actually have one of these on my keyring. Super functional. I love this thing. So we won't need too many materials. First and foremost, we will need our 3.5 hook. We will need a yarn needle. We actually won't need a stitch marker this time around. That's kind of impressive. We'll need some scissors. And we will need some hardware. So some keychain hardware. These are the ones I have on hand. You do not have to use these, but I found these to be the easiest when I am creating the wristlets so that it can attach to my keyring. That's just a personal preference. You will need yarn. So later in the video, I describe that I use one skein of yarn and I use 2 strands from the same skein. If you want to do that, I do kind of describe how to do that, but if you want to use 2 different colors to make your life a little bit easier, go for it. Just kind of putting that disclaimer in there. And I think that's it, y'all. Let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this wristlet. The wristlet is very simple, but it is different than how we usually crochet our projects together. So what I have now is a very disturbingly tangled ball of yarn. And what I've done is I've taken the center pull string, and I've taken the outer string of this skein. So I have 2 strings. Let me repeat that. When you have a skein of yarn, there is the center pull where you're supposed to like be able to easily pull your string, which never ironically happens for me. I always struggle with my yarn, but there's a center pull, and then there is like the end of the skein. There's another string. I have both of them in my hand. If you want to use 2 different skeins, that's totally fine. I decided to use the same one because I wanted the same color, and I don't think I have another skein of this color, so that's why I'm using this. You're going to take, to start this off, I'm taking my keychain. I'm using the claw clip. I think that's what that's called, claw clip. I am making a slip knot, just like that, using both strands of my yarn. So now that I have the hook, the loop on my hook, I am going to put my keychain on top of that. Okay. Now I am grabbing both the strings and I am essentially just doing like a slip stitch, just like that, so that both of the strings are now attached. Okay, you should look something like this. Now I'm gonna drop my strings. I will pick up the back string, hold it as I usually do my yarn, and this is where the magic happens. So now that we're attached to our keychain, and rewind this as much times as you need, you're gonna take this free strand at the bottom, put it over your hook like that, take this other strand, loop over, go through the strand you just looped, and then you're gonna go through those 2 loops on the slip stitch, and you're gonna repeat that. So we're gonna count that as 1, just bear with me. We're gonna go over our hook, yarn over, and pull through both of those. Place that loop over your hook, yarn over, go through both loops. Let me just show you one more time, because it is very different than how we usually crochet. And this just gives us a really, really nice look for our wristlet. Something different, something 3D, and something very, very sturdy when we're attaching it to like keys and such. I use it to attach my keys, so that when I like run into the store real quick, or if I don't have my bag like on me, or if my bag is too small for my keys, I use this as a wristlet to attach my keys. So again, we're putting that free strand over our crochet hook, yarning over, and then going through those 2 loops. Just like that. And we're doing 70 of these. I have no idea how many I just did. I have to go back and count them. But we're doing 70 or until you have enough that fits around your wrist comfortably. And I'll just stay on just a little bit so you can see in real speed what this looks like, because again, it is very different than how we usually crochet. And there's something about seeing it done repeatedly that kind of helps. So maybe I'll just stay on and do the whole thing with you so you can see the video. It won't be that long at all. But this is really, really simple. And the trick here is once you get accustomed to it, once you get used to it, you want to make sure the tension is the same throughout, because if you have some loops that are tighter than others, it will definitely show in your work. So you want to make sure that you're having the same tension as much as possible. A really cool variation to this is using a chunky yarn. Right now I'm using a low peel yarn, which means that it won't fuzz up as often, because acrylic yarn usually fuzzes up, it peels. Those are the little lint balls that you see after you use whatever you made with the acrylic yarn up here. The low peel just means that you see less of that. But you can use a chunky yarn, and that way your wristlet will be a lot thicker. But I liked the rope effect, so I went with a worsted weight, but just a low peel, and it worked really well. I made one for myself, and it is like amazing. Okay, so this is what the finished product looks like. So what I'm gonna do is, I was not counting like at all, and I know this one is the size I need it to be, so what I'm just gonna do is just measure this, and I need to go maybe like 5 more, and then I'll be done, and I can show you how to finish this thing out. So although this is different than what we usually do, it is super simple. Like once you get the hang of it, I can knock like maybe 5 of these things out in 30 minutes. Once you get the hang of it, like it is a little bit tricky to get started, but once you get the hang of it, it's super simple. Okay, so now I'm gonna cut a tail about, I don't know, what is that, like 4 inches, 5 inches, something like that. All right, so I'm gonna pull my yarn through. So now this is what we're looking like on this end, and this is what we should look like on the other end. So what I want to do now is I'm gonna insert my crochet hook into our hardware. I am going to pull up one of the loops, it doesn't matter which one of the loops through our keychain, just like that. Just pull it through. I will tie this thing. I tie mine twice, just like this. That was once, that is twice. I'm gonna take these ends, put them through my yarn needle. You need both of them through your yarn needle, just like that. Okay, so this is what we're looking like so far, right? We are taking those 2 tails from when we first started. We are going to loop it like this. Let me just show you what I'm doing. We are going to just kind of loop it on itself so that it looks like this. I literally just folded it. That's all I did, just folded it, okay? And now we're taking this tail and we're just wrapping it around such that we are going over that loop we just made. And we're just looping it around just like this. I usually go about 4 or 5 times. And make sure your yarn doesn't come out of your yarn needle, because that happens to me quite often, and I feel like it's gonna happen right now. It's trying. It just did. So let me go ahead and rethread this. Okay, I just literally just rethreaded my yarn needle. Okay, so this is what we are looking like. Now what I want to do, we should have these little loops left, right there, you see them? We want to take our yarn needle and go through both of those loops. I'm just going through both loops and my yarn is trying to come out again. Okay, so that's what we're looking like. Now we want to hold this and pull on this guy. And when you pull on this, what happens is it's gonna pull those two loose strands through and secure your yarn. You see that? How now it's secure? Technically, you can go ahead and cut, and this thing isn't going anywhere. But if you watch my channel before, you know I like to be super extra. So what I like to do is let me see if I can get closer. Sorry about that. So you see how there's, let me get a focus. You see how there's like two loops at the top? I'm gonna skip the first loop and go into the second one. Go into the second one and the ones underneath. And I'm just pulling through. No, I'm not, because my yarn just came out of my yarn needle again. Let me just rethread. Okay, so let me get in focus here. So you see how there's two, let's see if I can get a better picture for you. See how there's two loops like at the top right there? I'm not going into the first loop because my work may come out. I'm going into that second loop and kind of shimmying my way down so that it looks like this. And I'm just going to pull through. And the reason I'm doing that is because for me, I just like to be extra secure in what I'm doing. And for me, it just feels more secure when I do it that way. You totally don't have to do it this way. So that's what we have, right? And now we can just cut this because this is not going anywhere. We can cut it and we're done. Literally, we're done. And that is your wristlet. That's it, y'all. All right, so I hope this video was super cool and super quick. I know the stitch is something that we're not usually exploring or usually familiar with, but hopefully it was simple enough to where you were able to get it pretty quickly. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to watch our previous video where we made, I have one here, where we made our watermelon keychain. Don't forget to check that one out. Don't forget to check our next video where we are making super cool stuff. Don't forget to, again, like, subscribe, make sure you're watching and staying up on information that's out there so you can keep you and your family safe, and crochet some cool stuff this week, and meet me back here.